Hi folks, my name's Colin Miller. I'm the School of Management Languages Web and VLE Officer at Harriet University. Now I've been asked to do a quick webcast for those people who are interested in a little bit more about the Turnitin plagiarism and similarity indexing that we use via Vision, our virtual learning environment. So here we are. I've got a dummy course set up. It's had it for a few years just for practicing things with and great for demonstration purposes. So very quickly I'll run through how to add a new Turnitin assessment for summative purposes into a course. I always tend to go through the control panel, but of course you can use edit view in a course. It just helps you to make sure that you know where you are when you're in the control panel, and it gives you access to a lot more commands as well. So anyway, go into your content area where you want to add it. You'll see here that there are a couple already. Just go in to the drop down over here. So again, if you're familiar with this little drop down, there's a lot of other interesting pieces, wikis and the like, but the one that we're wanting today is Turnitin UK assignment. Click the go button. If you click the OK button at this point down at the bottom of that page, you'd be taken back to the home page, so do remember to hit go. The first assignment we're going to set up, paper assignment for summative purposes. Click the next step and walk through the process. Give your title and don't worry about point value. The point value is related to the marking system that Turnitin offers, and we're not going to go into that today. The start date always today, around about the time that you're in. Due date a week ahead, but you can set that very straightforward with a few clicks to whichever day, and then pick your time. Again, this depends on really when you ask for submission. So we'll say 5 o'clock, 28th October. The post date is again related to the marking system within Turnitin. You don't have to use it. You do have to set it to sometime after the due date, otherwise Turnitin will bring up a bit of an error and tell you that it can't be before the due date. Anyway, don't worry too much about that until we look at the grade mark facilities in Turnitin sometime in the future. Click on to your options, have a look. Generating originality reports, yes, because students do want to see it, and immediately the first report is final. This is a final submission, you only get to submit once. These next options can all be set later on when you're reviewing a similarity report. It's possible to change them and have them recalibrate the report based on your changes, but keep them at the defaults. Typically you want to retain the check of bibliographic materials. You want to include quoted materials, and you want to include small matches, so these settings all allow for that. You can go into more detail. Let me know if you've got any questions about these things, but generally speaking, no is the way to go. Do you want the students to see originality reports? Yes. Do you want to allow them to submit after the due date? I would say you do. It can make the students slightly less frantic if they are able to submit at the point a day or so after the actual submission. And the great thing here, Turnitin will tell you that it has in fact been a late submission, so you don't have to worry about it not capturing that data. Standard repository is fine. This is just where it goes to store, and then allow this submitted paper for each student to be then compared against other students in the class, and also the wider repository that's been created by Turnitin over the past years of its operation. Default options here again are useful for the bulk of work. You never need to change these, so it's okay. Would you like to save them? Yes. Click that, say you want to save it, and you should be fine. The submit button then takes you to the standard Vision OK page. It'll ask you and tell you rather that it's done it successfully. If there was an error, what to do would be to cut and paste that and email it on to me, and I can have a look. And you see this one, test for 1112, is at the bottom, so you want it to be at the top so students can see it. Hit 1 and up it goes. That's it. That's how to set it. Dead straightforward, dead simple. If you had wanted to add any more slightly what's called adaptive release, don't use adaptive release sections within Vision for Turnitin. If you actually want to edit something that you have already done, then what you should do is the modify button. Make sure it takes you through to about this page, and you can change the dates there or the times and submit, and it will say that it's updated again. So you can go back and change them if you want to. Here we go. The item's not available. It will be available at 6 PM today. So just to show there that you can go back and make changes. The student view is dead straightforward. Students are able to upload a document. They are able to type in their names if it hasn't already auto-filled, and it sometimes can. They can title the work. You don't obviously, I'm just typing random words on the keyboard there. And when you browse to select a file, you will see a familiar interface, which again you can upload any file to. It accepts RTF, rich text format, docs from Microsoft Office, docx from later versions of Office, and PDF. There are restrictions to what can be checked with a PDF. It has to be text. If they have created a PDF with graphics, then that will not bring up a proper report. So something to look out for there. If a PDF has been submitted, best to request it some sort of text format, so RTF or doc is used. Just checking on this elevator here that the document is as I expect. It is. Everything's okay there, and asked to be patient. When it's busy, this process can take quite some time, and the students can often be quite worried about it. It will be submitted. Students hopefully will plan well enough in advance that they're not leaving it to the last minute. When they do that, the system is overloaded and things will be a little bit slower. If your students have issues, then you just ask them to contact you, so at least you know what's going on, and then you can review it when the system has caught up. Typically it can be up to 24 hours at busy periods for the actual originality report to be generated, so you don't have to ask a student to print out a originality report and submit it. The email receipt will be sufficient, and that would often come within a matter of minutes, just to say that it has been properly submitted. You'll see on this page that I have set up a revision test. This is to allow students the use of Turnitin in a formative sense to help improve their scholarship skills, rather than just having a percentage score given to them at the end. They are able to amend and adapt their document so that they can take into account best practice and referencing and so on. This revision exercise allows for one submission in any 24-hour period, so this is advantageous and stops students trying to game the system too heavily, but it does give them a genuine chance to improve. Setting this up is again very straightforward. Click on Turnitin UK assignment, click on Go. It will once again take you through to the Turnitin screens. This time select Revision Assignment, and this allows for multiple drafts to be submitted by the student. This time you have to make sure that you select the correct assignment. If you've got more than one final submission, you'll see more than one option here, so make sure that you are indeed setting it. And what this does is affects the dates here and saves you having to fill them in. If you want to, you can set an earlier end date, so that for example, the revision exercise closes 3 days before the final submission, or you can keep them both running concurrently, not an issue. The system allows for both. You could, if you wanted to, just set individual days and within the calendar up to the running of the final submission, so that a student perhaps has a 6-hour window or a 12-hour window, or however you want to set it there, that they can actually log in and submit once. That can be a useful way to focus their minds on various stages, and having one a weekend before and then another one 2 weekends before the final submission date, that can work, or you can just keep them running. So anyway, in this case we're going to have a single day, the 11th of October, from first thing in the morning and until right late at night, and that'll give the students enough time to submit and check once to see how they're getting on. Special instructions: This can be changed, text here can be changed however you wish to state it, and it's not an issue to do so, but the important one here is you can overwrite reports until due date. Allowing them to do that then means that they can then go in. So depending on how you set it up, if you have a single day like this set up here, just allow them to submit once. If you wanted to run it over a week, then set it so that they can overwrite reports, so they'd get 7 attempts to submit and get a report back there. But as I said, we're going to do just a single day ahead of the final submission, so that first report is final. We want the students to see, they can learn from it that way. Submit will take you to the OK page once again in Vision, and there we have it, successfully added. This is the system for adding both final, summative assignment and revision assignments, which allow for multiple drafts to be submitted and hopefully for the students to learn something from the similarity report, or at least to get confirmation that the referencing has been correct throughout. There are other options available in Turnitin. We're not going to go into them just now, and I hope you have found this useful. It's the first podcast that I have done for Vision, and it will hopefully not be the last. If you found it helpful, let me know. Drop me an email, and I look forward to hearing from you with any questions and comments. And if we can get a series of these set up, or if there are any similar threads coming through in questions, I will try and answer them in a new video. So thanks very much for watching. Bye.